Welcome to Odds.com's NBA coverage. We are coming to you Sunday night, January 3rd is 11:24 p.m. Eastern, and we are capping games for Monday, January 4th. We are keeping you ahead of the market moves. We have our experts, Trotwam and Dutch Boy Fresh, in effect right now. First, we'll go with Trotwam. How you doing, my man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great, feeling good. I'm glad to be back with you great fellas, what I'm saying? Trying to get some of this cash like we've been doing and just keep that rolling, bro. How y'all feeling, man? How you feeling, bro?
I'm excited to work with you guys as a group. We've been very successful for our video picks. We're 35 wins, 17 losses, plus 16.33 units. The last day we were together, December 29th, we went 13 wins, 9 losses, plus 3.37 units. And that was because of Dutch Boy Fresh going 7-3 plus 3.78 units, while Wham and I were just staying around the 500 mark. Dutch running hot, 18-8, 69.2% plus 9.14 units, ROI plus 35.15%, average line minus 111. Dutchy, you're feeling it, man.
Yes, sir. Jimmy the motherfucking bag, Wham the bam. It's a pleasure to be with you guys, my guys. It's very nice to be here Sunday night. It is the last night, obviously, of the NFL, but we're going to break down this NBA card. And you already know we fresh, we all blessed, and we're ready to put these motherfucking bookies to rest.
I love it. Dutchy running hot. Trotwam 6-4 on the year here on video picks, plus 1.79 units, ROI plus 17.90%, average line minus 106. I mean, you hit 60% all year, we're going to be golden. I'm running hot thanks to the work that you guys are putting in. 11-5. I'm at 68.8% plus 5.40 units, ROI plus 33.75%. But it is early in the year, so let's not. When it comes April and we're sitting here with these double-digit ROIs, then we can feel the glory. Right now, let's get to work. We have a nice-looking card, 9 games on the docket. We are going to start 7 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Cavaliers 4-2, 2-1 on the road at the Orlando Magic, 4-2, 1-2 at home. Amway Center, Orlando, Florida. The Cavs right now at FanDuel are 4.5-point dogs, and they have not put up a total at this point. This is the lone game that's not up at Circa Sports, so we don't have a total. We just have the Cavs as 4.5-point dogs. Cavs pace so far this year, 23rd in the NBA at 100.11 possessions a game. Magic 5th at 103.92 possessions a game. We'll start with the Cavs. Snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 96-91 win at Atlanta on Saturday night. Sexton went for 27 points. He's averaging 26 on the season. Andre Drummond went for 12 points, 11 boards. JaVale McGee came off the bench, went for 14 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists. They have 7 guys averaging 9+ points a game. They're hitting 46.3% from the field. They're getting distribution this year. That could change. They're averaging 26.2 assists per game. That could change because Darius Garland, who's been a key part of that distribution, day-to-day with a shoulder injury. Kevin Love out 3 to 4 weeks with a calf injury. Now let's get to the Magic. After winning 4 straight to start the season, Magic have lost 2 straight, both at home. First versus the Sixers on Thursday night, then on Saturday night, 108-99 versus the Thunder. Fournier didn't play against the Thunder due to back spasms. He remains day-to-day and is questionable to go. After opening the season so strong, we talked about it, Markelle Fultz, I don't believe in him. He's now averaging 10.6 points a game over his last 3. Vucevic has been a monster, though. Last 3 games averaging 25.7 points, 11 boards, 3.3 assists, and he's turned the ball over just twice in those 3 games. Terrence Ross missed the Sixers' loss with a strained hamstring. He came back and scored 26 points off the bench against the Thunder. He's averaging 22 points per game, and he's proving to be a very valuable 6th man. I did edit that sentence because I did write this guy could be the 6th man of the year. When I was like, nah, fuck that. And I edited it to proving to be a very valuable 6th man. All right, let's go Trotwam. We have the Cavs 4.5-point dogs starting the year 4-2. Take it away, Trot.
Yeah, last time we were on them, man. I like the Cavs again in this spot. A lot of that has to do with this Orlando team, man. They're kind of being against the grain, hard-headed. One of those kids. My apologies, I've been a little messed up there. One of those kids that's just out there in the streets that's not trying to do what their parents are telling them. Everyone is shooting threes out here. The Hawks are shooting threes. Everybody's shooting threes. These guys are shooting contested twos in games and having a terrible shooting percentage at that. And Terrence Ross, person you said coming in hot, he's saying, well, everybody got to keep shooting. He coming out here with the coach after the game saying everyone needs to keep shooting. It seems like that's going to be what Cliff preached to these guys as well. We want to get the percentages back up. Like you said, man, I don't think this is going to be able to happen against this team that the Cavs, bro, they've been putting down a lot of defense as of late. A lot of people are not respecting that. And it showed in this Atlanta Hawks game. They allowed those guys to, I believe, score only 35 points in the second half. So 35 points in the second half holding the Atlanta Hawks. That's a tough task. I know they didn't have Gallinari. I know Rondo wasn't in that game. But that gave me enough indication that, man, maybe we need to be back in the Cavs again. I like them being an underdog here. I'm going to take the +4.5. I might sprinkle the money line. Stay tuned. Wow. Follow Trout Wham on Twitter, man. Y'all know what it is.
Wham, +4.5 at -110 on the Cavs. Wow. So we both lost on the Cavs on December 29th. I ended up going 4-3 that day, +0.70 units. We both lost on the Cavs, and Wham shows no fear and goes right back to them. Ballsy. Let's hear what Dutch Boy Fresh had to say. CavsMagic, take it away.
Yeah, I'm a little more scary than Wham. Both sides, honestly, to be truthful. The Magic play gritty so far. They've had a couple of hiccups. The Cavs, from really the get, I like everything I've seen. They do have some injuries. I like the kid Sexton. My dude Drummond, man, he gets every damn board that's on the rim. You know what I mean? If you break, he getting it. But both sides, I feel like flip a coin and we can, you know what I mean? And let's go right here. There's more games for me to choose from. I'm not mad at Wham's play at all. But I definitely like what I seen from Vujicic. I like that dude a lot. Him and Drummond, good matchup. But like in Garland, if Garland's out, that's a big key. But awfully Fournier, he's really the only shooter in that starting lineup for Orlando. So him being out, I believe Michael Carter Williams is the backup. To me, that screams more of a underlook there because I don't really see any shooting on the court if Fournier's out, like I mentioned, and you got you got Markelle Fultz out there. He ain't no shooter. Terrence Ross, he's real streaky. He can catch fire, but in Jimmy's eye, he's shooting for the 6th man of the year. So
that's why he took it off though. He took it off because this might be an under game. It might be a bad showing. Yeah. Let me take this shit off.
He remembered Levert's over there in Brooklyn, so he's like, hold up, let me ease up on this boy Terrence. No, but honestly, both teams are real scrappy, and I think this could be a good game to watch. It'll probably come down to the last couple possessions. But I'm just gonna lay off this. I don't like anything from either side, to be honest with you, Jim.
I think this is a good spot. I know Fournier is likely not in the lineup, but I think this is a good number on the Magic at just 4.5 points. They've lost 2 straight. They're not happy. It helps that they've lost 2 straight. They're played a good club in the Sixers. They had, no answer when they played the Sixers, no answer for a beat, and then they lose to the Thunder, in shocking fashion, the shocking second half.
Which they did beat, a couple nights before, and they go back and then they lose. But I believe, the Thunder rested players too. So,
what I would say, though, the reason why I like the Cavs as much, because I only gave y'all a snippet there. I like Isaac Okoro coming back as well. It looks like he's going to be available within one of these 2 games. Him coming back in this game is a big jump as far as their offensive rating. They're with him on the court. It's at 117 offensive rating. Without him, they're at 102 offensive rating. That's a big swing to me. And hearing quotes from J.B. Burgerstaff, which I told you guys last time, I believe they believe in this coach. He says that he makes him feel comfortable out there just by the way he plays because he's doing the right things on the field and being one of those wing defenders. I like this play. I like you said, Jimmy, we got burned on them, though. We got burned on them, and it started off with them losing that only allowing 19 points in the first quarter. I mean, I'm sorry, scoring 19 points in the first quarter in that game. So they started off super slow. They did try to lock it down. The defense is what's going to be key in this game, I believe, especially seeing that Orlando is just, like I said, being hard-headed, not shooting any threes. And as far as this team points per game, they're like number 1 in points per game, the Cavs. So I like them to take over the paint, bro. So Vucevic, he might be in a little trouble, I believe.
I think Vucci will have a tough time with the bigs for the Cavs. I just think this is a nice spot to take the Magic early. And if there's no Garland, the under has to be.
I love that under.
Play.
With Fournier out too. With Fournier out too. I mean, it just,
the Cavs under hit last 4 times too, bro. It just looks only right.
The only thing with Orlando is who's gonna get the buckets when you need them. I guess it's got to go Vucci or Terrence Ross, really.
I feel you. It's dangerous backing this Magic team without not knowing who's going to put the ball in the bucket. Right. Without Fournier out there, it's dangerous backing this Magic squad. We saw that against the Thunder. But I think they're an angry group after 2 straight losses. And I'm going to take Magic first half when that becomes available, regardless. And then I will take the under if Darius is out. We have Wham on the Cavs at +4.5 at -110. And Dutch, you are staying off this spot?
Yes, sir. Do you have a line on the under?
No. Yeah, give me that under 2, bro. Give me that under 2.
You want that under 2? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do that as soon as that becomes available. No. And it's nice for those of you betting the legal licensed sports books in America, because usually you'd have to wait till the offshores are in business. We have nothing from the offshores, but we do have FanDuel already up and at 'em with this 4.5. So we'll see what the total is from FanDuel as soon as that comes out. All right, let's keep rolling. That is the first game on the card, 7 p.m. Eastern, Cavaliers, Orlando Magic. We have Wham on the Cavs and the under. Now, Wham, is that with the caveat that Darius Garland has to be out of the lineup?
Now, if Darius Garland is out of the lineup, obviously you want to wait for that news to come out. But I like this with him being in the lineup and with Isaac Okoro coming in as well. I think that makes the biggest impact on them actually hitting this money line, because honestly, when it's this tight as far as the spread, I'm looking money line, to be honest with you, just because it's a bigger score. Dan Kelly taught us well, Peter Loshak, these guys taught us well as far as being able to figure out where your angle is. And I think the money line is a good spot in here, because it's a team that, like you said, the Orlando Magic, who is going to score the ball. So if you have that question alone, you might want to go on the other side and take the big score on that side.
All right, let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern action. Charlotte Hornets 2-4, 1-2 on the road at the Philadelphia 76ers, 5-1, 3-0 at home. These Sixers are 9.5-point favorites right now at FanDuel. We are at 11:37 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night. This total is sitting at 219. We're at the Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hornets are 9th in the league in pace, 102.83 possessions a game. Sixers are 12th at 102.33 possessions a game. We'll be starting with Dutch here in this breakdown. This is game 2 of 2 games in 3 nights at Philadelphia for the Hornets. The Hornets lost back-to-back games by 15 points each to start 2021, losing Friday at home to Memphis 108-93, and then losing Saturday 127-112 at Philadelphia. Terry Rozier leads the team with 23.2 points per game. Gordon Hayward averaging 18.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, 5.2 assists. But Devontae Graham, a player that so many of us fell in love with last year after averaging 18.2 points per game, he's averaging just 9 this year. PJ Washington hurt his thumb day-to-day and is questionable for this game. Cody Zeller out for 4 to 6 weeks with a hand injury. And this is the very dangerous third game in 4 nights for the Charlotte Hornets. Sixers have won 5 of 6 to start the season. They're on a 3-game winning streak in their 127-112 win at home over Charlotte. They won by 15 despite turning the ball over 22 times. It helped that they shot 59.5% from the field, 45.7% from 3. Embiid averaging 25 points, 12.6 rebounds on the season. Seth Curry hitting 51.5% from 3. I just don't see the Sixers shooting at that level I just don't see them hitting 60% from the field, 46% from three. And that makes me want to back the Hornets, but I don't want to back a team on the third game of 4 nights unless I take them early. Whether that be first quarter or first half would be the only way I would move on this spot. Let's go to Dutch Boy Fresh, Hornets, Sixers. Take it away.
Yeah, Jim, I'll probably lean with you on the first half, maybe with the Hornets. I don't really have a play on this game. I think Philly at home is money, has been money in recent times as well. To be honest with you, Rozier killed me yesterday. So, I mean, he busted Simmons' ass. I thought Simmons was going to take him, and he went off. So, I don't know what's going on there. But I expect – and they still got blown out. And but, you know, the 76ers are clearly another class, so it's a matter of when are they going to flip the switch to turn it on? Are they going to do a first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth? So I'm going to stay off this game and just get a little bit from what I see from it. But I'm just going to really watch it, and I got no action on either side of this game.
I understand. I feel like this is a Hornets early spot. Let's hear what Wham has to say about it. Hornets, Sixers, take it away.
Yeah, if I was going to bet the Hornets, it has to be early as far as like the first quarter early. That's the only way I would think about hitting this. The only thing that I will say, it's all screaming Philadelphia here. It's all screaming Philadelphia. They're at home. I know we don't want to bring over their stats from last year, but at home, it seems like it's just a little different juice there. And on top of that, the historic stats in this matchup, they covered 9 of the last 12 meetings in this matchup. They covered the over hit 5. The over hit 5 times of the last games. In the last 5 games, it hits the last 5 times there. So the over is looks like that's the trend here in this matchup. And as far as Philly, they covered the last 3 games. Ben Simmons is locking down every opponent he puts in front of him. He's locking them down. So
besides Terry Rozier,
besides Terry Rozier, but I mean Terry Rozier, I think that has something to do with that over, bro. Because you know what I mean. Like that was a part of one of those games I was mentioning. So you know they kind of giving it up, but he's still been playing pretty good up till that point.
No,
you know what I mean?
He's got great numbers. That's what I base.
But I would lean towards the over quicker than I would say take the Sixers here. I did take the Sixers though. I did take the Sixers at -9.5. I did take that, and I feel a little bit more confident. I feel like I should put a little bit more money on this over though. So I would say the over is my first initial play here. But I kind of want to hear you guys break it down a little bit more. See if y'all have any edge towards that over there.
Interesting. So you want to make the over official? Do you want to make the
official.
Sixers official?
I want to make the over official. I kind of want to hear you guys, because the way it sounds like you guys do agree with me though. Like the Sixers are going to take this over and win this game convincingly.
Well, Jimmy likes the Hornets, right? Or you
like
like
the first half?
I like the Hornets early. I won't bet on a basketball team in the third game of 4 nights.
Yeah, I think personally the Sixers will blow it out. But you know, like I said,
you can lock both of those in, bro. I already bet the Sixers. You can lock both of those in, bro.
Yeah. All right, we will do that. The over 219 at -110. That's available at both Circa and FanDuel, and the Sixers -9.5 at both books as well. Sixers -9.5. I also, that first meeting being so high scoring, and they put up 239 in that game. That's another. It almost feels like when we see these teams in back-to-back spots in the same location that it's almost like a college game of a tale of 2 different halves. We haven't seen a lot of sweeps. We haven't seen a lot of similarities in the 2 games.
Right.
Agreed.
Very true. Complete opposites almost.
Almost, yeah. So that would – but also another thing for me is that I'm just kind of staying off of totals pretty strong, and I'm excited to start attacking them, but – still feel like I have so much more to watch. All right, so we have no moves for Dutch. I am going to take the Hornets first quarter. I believe we're going to see some complacency from the Sixers. That'll be my guess. They're feeling good about themselves. They just beat this basketball team after turning the ball over 22 times, shot the lights out. Let's see them do that again. Let's see them do that early.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that play. I could see that definitely.
All right, we move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The New York Knicks at Atlanta Hawks. Knicks 3-3, 2-2 on the road. Hawks 4-2, 1-1 at home. State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The Hawks are 6-point favorites. This total is at 221.5. The Knicks pace is 26th in the league at 98.92 possessions a game. Hawks are 10th, 102.67. Knicks have won 3 of 4 to draw back to 500 on the season. They're coming off an impressive 106-102 win at Indiana. They shot 50.6% from the field, 44.4% from 3. RJ Barrett, our man, 8 of 15 from the field, 4-5 from 3 for 25 points and just 1 solitary turnover. Julius Randle, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Austin Rivers looked very dangerous coming off the bench, 15 points in 17 minutes. And with guards Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., both week to week, Alec Burks day to day, you know that Austin's going to get more and more run.
Right.
Now we get to the Hawks. After opening the season with 3 straight wins, Atlanta's lost 2 of 3. They're coming off a 96-91 loss at home to the Cavs. Trae Young was just 6 of 16 from the field for 16 points, 10 assists. He also turned the ball over 6 times, averaging 28.2 points per game. Feels like a bounce-back spot for him. Danilo Gallinari is out for at least 2 more weeks. Herter and Rajon Rondo are day-to-day and not going to be in the lineup. Here we go. Knicks, Hawks. We're going to start with Wham Bam. Take it away.
Yeah, man. Like we mentioned the last time, we talked about the Cavs. Reason why we like the Cavs because they held them to that 35 points in the second half. This team didn't get any praise from their coach after the game. They were actually up by 12 points in that halftime. That's how the Cavs just turned it around, like you said, in the tails of 2 halves. It was like that in this game. This coach, Lloyd Pierce, come out and says, like, basically, he didn't trust them, and he doesn't seem like they were competitive in that first half, even though they were up by 12 points. That just shows me that these guys are just kind of lollygagging out there, thinking they could do whatever they want because they have a good team now. You know what I mean? They got great players. They have a good team. They feel a little bit more too cocky in this spot, and they got they ass handed to them. So I feel like this is a good spot to bounce back with the Hawks. Just based off of that alone, and also they're going to get the right teachings from this coach. I actually had him for coach of the year because I seen this team morphing into something because of the additions that they made, and I think that's going to get credited by the journey here. And I think this is a part of the journey here. So I like the Hawks. I haven't made this official. This is one of those plays I do want to wait and see what you guys have to say. You know what I mean? Because we've been. I'm not trying to be left behind here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be a little bit more on the safe side. So this is one of those plays I did want to look into just because of the matchup here. Kind of want to see what you guys have to say.
Well, let's hear what Dutch has to say. Interesting spot here, Knicks Hawks.
Okay, so just numbers wise, let's go with the Knicks here. They're 5-1, 1 ATS in the last 7 versus Atlanta. 3-0-1 in the last 4 in Atlanta. Now Atlanta's 0-4-1 in their last 5 home games, ATS. And now the last 3 between each other, the games have went over. Now over has actually hit 13 in the last 19 times between each other. And the over is 9-11 in the last 12, or excuse me, 9-3 in the last 12 in Atlanta. So simply what I could look for here is I expect points. When I look at Atlanta, I look at a lot of offensive talent and not so much defensive talent. Obviously, with Gallinari being out, that goes against that. But pretty much the whole roster, they look more to get it up and down, especially with the starts with their best player. Their best player is Trae Young. He focuses more on the offensive end, not so much on the defense, and that tends to linger over with the complete team. So it screams over to me. And when you look at the numbers, the Knicks are playing good ball too. To be honest with you, the numbers scream full game. But when I look into it a little more, and especially with Atlanta coming off a loss, the last 3 games, the Knicks are plus 15 at half against Atlanta, 69-54 average. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Knicks first half and full game over, Jimmy.
Ooh, very interesting. Dutch gets on the board here with Knicks first half, which I'm not sure is let's see if I can get it here. First half is available. So he's on the Knicks plus 3.5 at minus 114. To see if maybe we can get a better line for you at circa no.
Yeah.
3.5.
I love that number though.
Yeah, 3.5 is nice.
I think they'll be up at half, to be honest with you. But we'll take the 3.5 for show purposes.
All right, 3.5.
And Atlanta coming off a loss, I mean, I think they'll probably pull out the W, but I do think it's going to come. These games have been close. So I'm going to stay away from the full game. But I lean Knicks full game, but definitely going to lock in that first half plus 3.5 in the over full game.
And you're getting a half point better at FanDuel. So both of these are at FanDuel. Over 221.5, minus 110. Both at FanDuel.
Now, from a prop perspective, Trae Young, like you mentioned, he did have a bad game, so that just plays into this even more. The last 3 games versus the Knicks, these numbers are crazy, Jimmy. And Wham, 44 points a game, 10 assists the last 3 versus the Knicks. He's going for 35 plus. So we're going over anything under 30. And hopefully, with the assist too, but I know he's going to bang them points. But he's been getting a lot of assists as well against them. And then we're going to from a New York aspect, we're going to look at my guy, and also, like I believe you mentioned, he's averaging Young's averaging 28.8 for the season. So he gets numbers, but he even shows up even bigger against New York. And my guy Randall from New York, he's averaged in the last 3 matchups as well. He's averaged 28 and 13 versus the Knicks. So he eats, and he's actually getting 21 and 10 on the season. So I like what I've seen from Randall. This is a very good matchup against Atlanta. He's pretty strong down low. He seems to get what he wants, rebounding and scoring aspect. So I'm looking for both of these guys to take care of business. If we could get a nice looking prop on either one of these two, I'd like to lock it in as well.
Trae Young over 29.5 points is juiced to the under. So you get it at minus 106.
Do we have the assist points and assist or no?
Yes, I believe we do. Let me move over there. Yes, Trae Young points and assists is at 39.5, and that's slightly juiced to the over.
And you said the over on points is 29.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll lock in the points.
Points are locked in. And then how do you want to handle Julius Randle points? He's at 23.5.
And points and rebounds?
Points and rebounds. Let's do that right now. Points and rebounds for Julius Randle's at 34.5, juiced to the under.
Okay, so we'll go points and rebounds over.
Ooh, wow! Firing 4 shots, 4 bullets.
Let's go.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, or I told, like I said pregame, I got 8 plays, 4s on this game. So when I pass on a couple of these others, you know why. But this game I like a lot. I expect a lot of points. I expect a lot of scoring. And I expect a couple guys to get some big numbers. Numbers all around, but these 2 guys are going to get what we need to get.
Oof, that'll be a fun watch for you tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, I guess. Okay, Wham Bam. This game makes me uncomfortable. I mean, now hearing Dutch's looks, I see what he's seeing with the scoring, and the Knicks are just playing at a slow pace. And the Trae Young thing, if this was in MSG, I mean, I really wonder what some of these young guys who love showing out in places like LA and New York in front of the fans are going to do. I know that they're comfortable in Atlanta when no one's there, but we know what happens when the Knicks or Lakers come to Atlanta. The place is packed for one of the few times all season, and that's not going to happen here tonight. Wham, how are you handling Knicks Hawks?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I failed to mention on the Orlando game that they do have fans there, but it was just a mix of OKC fans as well. So you know how Orlando gets. It was only 4,000 though. But in this game, I'm not sure if Atlanta has availability of fans yet, but like you said, man, it's not going to be that type of atmosphere there, even if it's 2,000, 4,000 of people in there. You never know. If we were in OKC, those 4,000 might make some noise, as much as they be making noise out there. But as far as this game, I honestly think it's kind of tricky just because this is one of the longest injury reports. Have all these guys out. As far as Herter is one of those key guys, man, to me. I feel like if he's not available, that's somebody that you have to look at there as well. And like you said, the pace, man, the New York Knicks, they shoot 10 less threes a game. They're about the same in 3-point percentage, if I'm not mistaken. But I honestly wouldn't trust. I wouldn't trust either one of these teams down the stretch. That's the reason why I kind of don't want to go and jump in on the Atlanta Hawks, because I could see Brooklyn. I mean, the Knicks. I can see the Knicks taking this, all the way down the wire. So I'm just stay off of it.
All right. Well, we don't need to worry because Dutch is firing shots at this game. Knicks first half plus 3.5, over 221.5. Trae Young over 29.5 points, and Julius Randle over 34.5 points and rebounds. And he's going against the market with the Young points prop and the points and rebounds prop. Exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck the market, man.
Let's go. Let's go. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Oklahoma City Thunder, 2-3, 2-0 on the road at Miami Heat, 2-3, 2-1 at home. American Airlines Arena, Miami, Florida. Thunder pace 18th in the association, 101.30 possessions a game. Heat 14th at 101.90. Very, very interesting game here. Heat sitting as 7.5-point favorites at FanDuel. This total's at 213.5. Thunder snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 108-99 win at Orlando on Saturday night. They outscored Orlando 56. Oh, that's not. That can't. Sorry, I've got this wrong. Must have been 66. Must have been 66-48. It's the only thing that makes sense there. 66-48. They had 6 players in double digits, led by 2019 first rounder Darius Bazley's 19 points. They have 7 players averaging double digits, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 18.8 points. Miami's lost 2 of 3. They're coming off a 93-83 loss at Dallas. They were held to 31 points in the first half. They had just 53 after 3 quarters. They shot 37.2% from the field, 21.2% from 3. Jimmy Butler came back from injury to score 2 points in 27 minutes and go 0 for 6 from the field.
Yeah.
This has all the making of a bounce back, beat down, feel good spot for the Heat. Let's start with Dutch Boy Fresh, see what he thinks here. Thunder Heat. Let's roll.
Okay, so like you mentioned, Jimmy's coming off a bad spot. Played terrible. Probably shouldn't even played. Definitely didn't. The Heat didn't even show up at all in Dallas. So I definitely think this is a Miami spot. I'll be on it simply because of the line. I honestly think this should be a first quarter, first half, full game spot for Miami. But sometimes Miami starts slow, and I almost think they have that, oh, we're better than you type of mentality. That's the way they're showing. And they didn't. The mentality they had in the bubble was, oh, we're not supposed to be here. It was a different mentality that I'm seeing now. So until I see that flip switch, which is going to have to start with their best player, Jimmy Butler, which is not happening. When I see him go 100, then I will feel comfortable putting my money on Miami. But to me, this is a Miami spot, full game, first half. First quarter, they should clean house. But I'm just, like I mentioned, I'm just gonna have to see it before my money goes on it.
Interesting. Let's hear what Wham Bam has to say about this spot, Thunder Heat.
This is another play that I bet already, man. I shouldn't be doing this before I talk to you guys because it's just me going off of instinct. And honestly, after writing down these notes, looking at this situation here, I really believe, and I said this on my last show, I really believe Miami may be overvalued. And Jay Crowder loss may be bigger than what we expect in here. I think this team is a little bit in the scrambles, bro. And the reason being is because they have 5 different starters as far as what they then started in this season. This could be possibly their 6th different matchup in this game. They could switch up the starting lineup one more time in this game. You know what I mean? So they've been playing pretty good in the fourth quarter, though. I do give them credit. They do have the same fight. They still are those goons that Kendrick Perkins says, you know what I'm saying, in the show. But they held the Bucks to 17 points in the fourth quarter while scoring 31 points. They held Dallas to 20 points in the fourth quarter. Obviously, that Dallas game, it was too late, but in the Bucks game, it worked out. Now, Coach Spo had quotes saying that just because their 3 wasn't hitting in Dallas, I believe they shot 32. Oh no, my apologies. Dallas shot 32% from three. Now Dallas even shot 32% from three and still beating them and spanking them like that. They shot even poorly. A lot of that has to do with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. They only only made 2 3-pointers, and like you guys alluded to, Jimmy Butler didn't make anything from the field. I think this team may be in the shambles, and like you said, Dutch, and I seen you tweet that out. Maybe he shouldn't even been playing, bro, because he looked like he just hurt. I mean, it's too quick of a turnaround, maybe for him. I believe that's the case. This OKC team, they deep, man. It seems like they're a little bit revamped, man. Like Theo Maiden, a rookie, coming in 5 for 7 from field, 70%, 12 points in last game, four assists, 3 rebounds. And they're saying, as far as Baisley, he doesn't look like a rookie. As far as the quotes, they raving about this kid. I like those quotes. I like the Baisley showing that he's going to another level. This is his 3rd career double-double, 19 points, 12 rebounds last game. I like OKC, man. I think George Hill's shooting at a high clip. He shot a career high in 3 points on the Bucks last year at 46% from 3. Right now, he's on pace to doing the same thing. He's at 45%. I like this team, man. They playing pretty good, bro. I think Shea's going to make another step. I like OKC. I like it at 8. I think you said at 7.5. If I could get the 8, bro, that's the one I want to lock in.
You can get it at Circa.
Yeah.
Available plus 8 at Circa.
That's a good number.
It is a good number. I think both you guys have great breakdowns in this game. And when Dutch says there is a difference between how the Heat handle themselves in the bubble, like we know they act like we don't belong here. They had that edge to them. That edge. Let's prove the world. Let's show everybody. Let's destroy the Bucks in 5 games. And they don't have that here. And they haven't had that so far this season. And my belief, and I could be wrong because it's just 5 games, but I believe this 5-game slap in the face and Butler coming off 0 for 6 from the field and 2 points is enough for them to get angry.
Right.
And I can understand Wham's ideology with the Thunder here, but to me, I'm not dropping any triple ups so far this year, although in our last show, the Bucks, we had first half full game, and that first game against the Heat when they beat them by 50 was a perfect spot for it.
Why did we not have that first quarter? I was thinking, God damn it.
Yeah, so was I. But early in the year. It's early in the year.
But I was like, damn.
I am going up against Wham here. I'm going to go first half and full game on the Heat. I'm going to get the 7.5. That's at actually, you know what? It'll be what I bet. So I'll just keep it straight like that. So I won't be able to make the first half bet yet, unless Bet365 has it available. But the full game will be available. I imagine that's a -7.5. I hope it's a -7.5.
See, what I mean about another thing about the Heat is, like, they already got smacked in the mouth by the Bucks in Miami and then came right back and beat them, right back. So, to me, that's what's scary about Miami. That's why I don't think I could ever bet OKC here, simply because I know Miami has talent and is a good enough team to beat anybody in the league. Definitely OKC. But it's a matter of, are they going to show up? And to me, they have Jimmy Butler, who he does so much for that offense. Realistically, he doesn't need to really score, but he has to be aggressive offensively, defensively, and reboundingly. And when I mean offensively, I mean getting others involved, because he's the playmaker on that team, because they don't have a point guard. Dragic is the guy off the bench, the 6th man, but he's going to get you some assists, but he's getting out there to get buckets. Right. So that's another thing. When I look at that team, that's what I see they lack. But Jimmy Butler was that piece in the bubble and obviously in the finals, to make those plays. So he can obviously do it. It's just a matter of, is he going to?
Exciting. We have Dutch staying off, Wham on Thunder +8, and I'm going first half full game on the Miami Heat. We move on to a very important game for us up here in the North. Celtics, Raptors.
Are they in the North, though? No.
Well, I know that Portland is officially a little higher on the map. And
that's a sore subject. My bad.
It's all good. It's all
I'm just
good.
trying to poke the bear, bro.
All good. All good. Celtics 4-3, 2-2 on the road at the Raptors, 1-4, 1-1 at home. We are in Tampa, Florida. God, it pains me. It pains me to say that shit. Amalie Arena, are you kidding me? Celtics, and if there was ever a time when this basketball team needs our city to support them and be behind them,
Man.
it's
Right.
now. It's fucking now with Siakam falling apart mentally. We need to support him. We need to be there. What's he getting at fucking Amalie Arena, man? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that shit right.
Pretty women, I know that though. But you got a lot in
Unfortunate,
Toronto
bro.
too, though. So he ain't feeling too good.
Raptors 11th in pace, 102.6. So let's talk about Celtics first. On the second half of a back-to-back, they played tonight. They beat the Pistons 122-120. Last second bucket by Jason Tatum. How often are we going to be saying that? Tatum went for 24 points, 8 boards, 12 assists, but it was Jaylen Brown, 31 points, 13 of 16 shooting. His only misses were from 3. He went 5 for 8. Celtics shot a season best 57%. Dwayne Casey said it felt like they were hitting everything they shot. And I sort of Dwayne Casey. The last time I saw him, we were under an overpass, and he pulled up beside me, and I just because I was so excited to see him, I smiled, and then I gave him that, and then he just shook his head and drove away. But his team right now with the Pistons have so many flaws, and they're on this card as well. So we will talk. I don't need to hammer this right now, but Tatum and Brown score 47.2% of Celtics points. And I know that Kemba is not here, and he'll change that. But that's a serious problem. This is their third game in 4 nights. Has there ever been a better situation for the Raptors when Brown and Tatum have to go all out and shoot lights out to get a win, to barely get a win?
Right.
And now the Celtics fly from Detroit to Tampa. Raptors have lost 4 or 5 to start the season. They're coming in off a 120-116 loss at New Orleans on Saturday night. Siakam, 10 points, 4 boards. He's fouled out of back-to-back games, averaging 16.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, hitting 39.5% from the field, 28% from 3, and we're paying him $34 million a year. The team is hitting just 33.2% from 3. If it wasn't for Chris Boucher, we wouldn't be able to smile when we talk about the Raptors. This is a Raptors spot.
Yeah, definitely.
In saying that, I don't want them early.
No.
And I don't even know if I want them first half. I think this is just a Raptors full game spot for me at this point. But let's hear what you guys have to say. We go back to Wham Bam to start this one, Celtics Raptors.
That's very interesting breakdown. I definitely agree. This gotta be a Raptor spot, full game. I kind of would say it's a first half spot as well, just because I mean they could easily mess up in the first quarter, you know what I mean? But get their shit together in the second half. The logic is that they're shooting pretty bad though. They're shooting worse than this Boston team. Boston isn't, they're not doing anything down low like we always knew they weren't gonna do. But so that's kind of the same story for them. That's another reason why I feel like Toronto knows this team. A divisional battle. You see how these games end up going later on. I mean, recently. And like you guys said, with these 2 series games, with these series matchups, basically, it seems like these guys are going to go ahead and go hard in their division. I think this is an important game because we don't have that many games left. You got to get it where you got the spot. This is off a back-to-back. You might even see some guys being rested for for Boston. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these guys rested. Don't be questioning, but I honestly don't have an actual play before I started here. So I do like Toronto, though. Toronto makes maybe on my card for sure, just because this is one of their spots that they're a lot more rested. They've been playing pretty bad. They've been down themselves. They got the situation with Siakam, like you said, man. Come on now. This guy cannot come up here and play bad after you just had this situation, bro. You just can't do it. So I honestly like Toronto to come out and bounce back. And that just because, Boston just in a bad spot. And like you said, man, they're not getting nothing from Jeff Teague. They're not getting nothing from some of these guys here. So I don't really like this Boston team that they've constructed so far. Some of these teams, like Miami, I believe, they kind of were going in harder on free agency rather than, figuring out what they should have been doing for this next coming season. So neither here nor there on this one. At this point, I'm leaning Toronto, though.
Well, we'll come back to you, see if you pull the trigger. If this Celtics brass think that Tatum and Brown can do what they're doing over a 72-game season and then go into the playoffs and do it as well, it's too hard. And maybe at this young of an age, they might be able to barely pull it off, but this is not a winning formula for playoff success. Let's talk to Dutch Boy Fresh here, Celtics Raptors.
Okay, so it's crazy, Jim, that you started off by saying, man, this is a Raptors spot, because when I'm looking into it, everything points to the Celtics numbers. It's crazy, right? The numbers. Everything I looked, I was like, wow. But it screams to me Raptors spot as well. Like you mentioned, tough game tonight. Went down the last shot. Celtics 8-point favorites. They win by 2. They just, 3 games, 4 nights, I believe. To me, I just don't want to. It's hard to go against the Jalen and Tatum show. They're the 2 best players on the court. If one of them if you get blessed and one of them don't have to play, then Toronto's obviously the look. And they might be in this spot. But I just can't go against Boston when I know they have the better team, the better coach, and the better players. You're absolutely right, Jim and Wham. This spot screams Toronto. But everything on the court that I see from my eyes and the numbers say Boston. And Boston is 5-2 in the first half this year. They actually lost their last 2 first halves to Detroit. So I do expect Boston to come out and play very well. I lean Boston first half, but I'm not going to make anything official in this game when it comes to sides, simply because to me the spot does scream Toronto. But when I look into it and everything to me says Boston, it's hard for me to go to the window with that. And like I mentioned, Jalen and Tatum is their show, Now, in saying that, from a props perspective, I like Marcus Smart. He's, I expect him to play. I expect him, not to leave anything out. He's going to leave it all out on the court. Back to back, 3 games in a row, 3 out of 4, 5 out of 6. It don't matter if you play every game twice on Sunday. You're going to get 110 from Marcus. So in the last 2 games versus Toronto, he's averaged 19 points and 7 assists. He's averaging 11 and 6 on the season, and just this evening he had 17 and 9 versus Detroit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen or Tatum do get a sit, which is even going to be better for me with Marcus. But I do expect him, and as you've seen with Kemba being out, he's controls the ball a lot. The ball's in his hand a lot. Now we know who he wants to get the ball to, but Marcus has the ball a lot, and nobody's going to punk him and tell him actually what to do. He's just a team player. He gives it to who he wants to. He knows what to do with it. But he's the alpha male on that team. So he's getting the ball. He's getting the minutes, and he'll get the shots. So I really like Marcus Smart here. He's been playing a decent ball, and he matches up well against Van Fleet and Lowry, either one of them.
He does.
Do you have any? Do you have anything on there for them?
I do. His points are at 13.5. Do you want points and assists, rebounds, or points?
Just the points and assists, Jim.
Points and assists for Marcus Smart, 19.5. So points are at 13.5. Points and assists are 19.5.
What do we do there, boss?
The juice is minus 113 in points and assists, and the points to the over is juiced to minus 114, minus 108 to the under.
Okay, let's go minus 113 points and assists.
Right.
Like I mentioned, Jeff Teague, he comes off the bench. He's more of a scoring point guard. When it comes down to it, Marcus Smart's actually their playmaker, their get others involved player.
Agreed.
He's not looking to score. He's going to shoot wide open shots, and he's not shy. Don't get me wrong. That's why I don't mind the points. But he's definitely going to be, getting some easy buckets, getting into those studs, Tatum and Brown, and the under 8-1 in the last 9 meetings. So I strongly believe this is an underlook too. But I'm going to stay away from that. I'm just going to go with this prop, keep it at that. But I do lean the under.
The total has come out at Bet365.
What is the total there, Jim?
Nice. It's dangerous. It's 215.
Yeah. And Boston can catch could catch fire. So,
and it can be a low scoring game,
Right.
and still get over that.
yeah.
You know, so
I lean under, but I'm gonna stay away from the sides and just expect a good hard fought game.
Bet 365 is hanging a -2.5, and I'm all over that. In fact, the double up here won't be a first half full game. The double up here will be a Raptors team total over. I just think if we keep coming at them in waves and empty out our bench and run, I think Boston's going to be hesitant to play Jalen and Tatum 37 minutes and having them run into the ground. So, I mean, I am going to double up here. The Raptors full game -2.5 is available tonight, so I'll bet it tonight. But the team total over will be bet as soon as I wake up. Wham! We have Dutch on Marcus Smart over 19.5 points and assists. I'm full game -2.5 and the team total over. Is there anything for you?
I'm gonna stay off this game just because I have a little bit more action. I don't want to press it here, but I am leaning Toronto. It might be on something that I tweet out a little bit later on. So I'm not on it right now, but you never know.
You had 215.5 full game under or full game, Jim?
215 flat.
Oh, yeah.
215 flat.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay off of that. I mean, this game screams under to me, but that's pretty low.
Yeah, that last game was set at 215.5 against New Orleans, and they went over.
I lost
total.
that. I lost that too. All the numbers pointed under in that shit. That first quarter.
That was the first. That was the first over for New Orleans, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, I took it on the chin on that one. So,
all right, that is Celtics Raptors, a huge game. We're 5 games in the season, and it's a must win. It's freaking must win. We're losing our shit.
Remember, Boston got a back-to-back after you beat them, bro. But I'm glad you cashed in them.
It's perfect. I want them as tired as possible. All right,
I might jump on it, man. It makes me want to bet it, honestly, because everything plays in Toronto, and you're so happy and you're so eager to jump on it, knowing that you're not that high on the way they've been playing as well. So it makes me think that, man, Toronto,
Lowry's not going to allow this team to. They started out 1-4. It's unacceptable, and now we have our biggest rival.
Yeah,
I think
it comes down to Siakam. I think it comes down to Siakam.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna get it from Van Fleet. You're gonna get it. You're getting from Lowry. Siakam's got to give you 20, 24, 25.
They gonna smash, bro. I don't know why I'm not making this.
If that's the case, then our season's over. If that's the case, because we don't know if he's mentally tough enough.
Well, I'm not too high on simply on Toronto because I don't believe they made any moves to get better. They got worse. They lost 2 big men.
Well, we thought Baines. We expected Baines to do a little more than 7 points a game. Isn't he supposed to hit outside shots?
I mean, Baines is just a big dude. He just takes up space.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're expecting Baines to do something to change your team, then
not change the team, but not be a liability.
Right.
He often played well against us.
I felt like they needed to make a move to get better, and they lost Ibaka, lost Gasol, and brought in Baines. So to me, they got worse in that exchange and didn't bring anything else to add.
I agree. Players don't want to come up. They don't want to play in Toronto, man. They don't want to have 45 minutes at the border
to get that money because you do whatever the fuck you want in Florida. Shit.
But they don't want that 45 minutes at the border.
Right. No,
45 minutes. That's what they all talk about.
That's why you pay Van Fleet that big money, huh? Because he was willing to stay.
We're also madly in love with him, and if he can have whatever he wants in our city. Thank you, Fred Van Fleet, for signing with us. But he takes a lot of heat here. He takes a lot of heat that he's just an average. He's a poor shooter. He's not a good defender. I think he's a extremely smart basketball player. Someone I trust implicitly. Someone who's consistent, and he's a nice piece on a great basketball team. He shouldn't be the piece.
Right. He gets his most out of his talents. We'll say. I mean, you can't be mad at that.
How you guys feel about the rumors about Siakam getting traded for Harden, though? I know this is off subject, but
Harden does not want to come to Toronto.
He should, though. The fucking clubs is banging out there, no?
Well, they were before the virus swept
I
in.
can see him out there with Drake and shit. Come on, man. He'd be a Drake group. Harden is Drake group. He'd be perfect.
We don't want
We
Harden
don't
at this
want
point.
him.
We
Yeah,
really
yeah.
don't. I don't see how that would work with our basket. We'd have to start all over. Like we put so much. We've invested so much in Van Fleet and Lowry. Now we're going to bring Harden out there. I just
Harden
Tricky,
doesn't really
man.
make sense anywhere, to be honest with you. He sure as hell don't make sense in Brooklyn.
he's a tricky player to figure out how to win a championship with.
And I'm glad people waited and stayed here because I'm going to take Toronto with you guys. They go to smash, bro. Go ahead and add that too, bro.
Wham.
Add that too, bro. Add that
Okay.
shit too.
Wham, I can give you -2.5. -2.5 at Bet365.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Bet365.
that.
Wham has come in on the Raptors here, -2.5, -110. All right, let's move on. That was a long breakdown. We're going to move on to Mavericks at Houston Rockets, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mavericks 2-3, 1-2 on the road at the Rockets, 2-2, 2-0 at home. Toyota Center, Houston, Texas. Mavs 24th in pace at 99.90 possessions a game. Rockets 17th at 101.36 possessions a game. Mavericks at FanDuel right now are 1-point dogs, and it's not up at Bet365. See if it's up at Circa. It is not up. So we have FanDuel leading the way here for the market. Mavericks are on the second half of a back-to-back. They lost tonight 108-118 to Chicago. Luka Doncic did not play. He was not in the lineup with a quad injury. Unclear if he'll be able to go tonight. He's listed as day-to-day. I don't know if you guys have any inside information on whether you think Luka is going to play.
I mean, I believe you said he's out.
I would expect him to be out. Jalen Brunson did his best to pick up the slack. 11 of 17 from the field, 31 points, 7 assists, 5 boards. They shot just 26.2% from three. You guys mentioned it on an earlier show about the difference that this Mavericks team is without Seth Curry on the floor, and it's becoming blatant. Now we go to the Rockets. After opening their season with 2 losses, Rockets won 2 games and 3 nights at home versus the Kings. The last one, 102-94 victory on Saturday night, was without James Harden, who sat out with an injury. He's listed as day-to-day with an ankle injury. Without Harden, John Wall went for 28, Eric Gordon went for 21, and Christian Wood continued his impressive run with 20. He's averaging 23.8 on the season after averaging 13.1 last season with Detroit. You take these 2 stars out of the lineup, and it's very difficult cap here. We have the 6 spots. We start with our Dutch boy fresh. Mavericks, Rockets, take it away.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Jimmy, with Doncic, I believe he's going to be out, and James Harden being questionable. This game's a little bit difficult, but when I look back in the matchups, I'm going to look at it from a prop aspect, and I do expect points from this game, but I'm not going to attack it from there. I'm going to actually attack it from Hardaway Jr.'s aspect. The last 3 versus the Rockets, he's averaged 23 points a game. Matchup-wise, whether it be John Wall, James Harden, I hope to God he guards him, or even Gordon. Anybody that you put on him, it's pretty much lights out. He's going to get his as long as he's not missing his shots. Hardaway's going to get his, and he's like I mentioned, he's averaged 23 the last 3 versus him. He's averaging 15 on the season. With Luka being out, it creates even more shots for Hardaway. Like you said before, Jimmy, with Curry not being on the team, they need the shots. It really creates a lot of shots for Hardaway. So it's just a matter of him, getting in the bucket. I believe he will. He'll have a lot of attempts. So I'm definitely looking over points on my guy Hardaway. I believe you said we didn't have anything up there with all the question marks for this game. Is that correct?
That is correct, but I will keep an eye out for it for Hardaway. And as soon as one becomes available, I'll message you and let you know it's available, and you can make a call on the line. Hardaway Jr. props or anything else you're looking at?
That's it, boss.
All right, let's go over to Wham Bam. Tricky cap here, Mavericks, Rockets. Only thing alive market-wise is the Rockets as 1-point favorites.
Yeah, so I think the Rockets should be favorites here because after you've seen what they did against the Kings. Now, honestly, I'm going to talk about the Kings a little bit later in that game, but I feel like the Rockets did have the better team, but the Kings failed to do something that, they should have did, but they didn't do. I think in this game, the Rockets, they're going against a team that, like you said, it may not have Luka. Without Luka on the floor, where are they really initiating the offense? Their offense is really kind of run off of, Bronson, who had a great game today. But even with that great game, they squeaked by. I mean, they end up losing the game, if I'm not mistaken, today. If I'm not mistaken, right? They lost the game today, and it was one of those games that they should have won, though. As far as this Chicago team, they should have beat the Chicago Bulls, even though Chicago has young talent. They still should have been able to beat the team because Luka was supposed to be MVP, and these guys were supposed to have some sort of great additions. And Richardson was supposed to be a great addition, and it was supposed to be more like a swap with Seth Curry. Like we mentioned last time, Seth Curry is a drop off. It was a drop off because he was top 2 in 3-point percentage last year, shooting at a crazy clip, and also creating the offense on pick and roll scenes. That's what this team likes to do. They like to do a lot of pick and rolls. When you got these shorter guards that aren't really that consistent from three, you're not going to go through the screen. You're going to go under the screen. So these guys, they're going under the screen. And if you don't have Luka shooting those screens, I mean, you out there, on the island basically. I think this Dallas team is in trouble. I like Houston, and also I think Harden does play because he's probable I'm showing him probable in mine, and I just hope just the variancy in that, because you guys have something different, just because that's how the NBA works. They want to throw us all over the place, and then all of a sudden these guys come out there and play. I think Harden does play, and even if he doesn't, we got Christian Wood out there, like you said, Jimmy. He's going crazy. He's going to at least give you 30 and 10 when Harden is not in the game, and when Harden is in the game, he probably give you 25 and 5 and 9. So he's a great addition. I thought he was a sleeper pick, and we all knew he was going to get paid. Us out here in Southern California, he's from South SoCal. We knew he was going to get paid, man. The kid balled hard in Detroit, and the only reason why he didn't get his run there is because of Blake Griffin. And I think with the injuries, that's the reason why he got his bag. He ended up getting his bag here. He's definitely a focal piece. And I think that progression, that is what's rubbing James Harden off. But James Harden plays it in this game. They're going to get a little extra boost on offense. But I think their offense is ran pretty well under this new coach. And with this new coach, and we're not really giving him any credit as well, because all this stuff is going around this team, and they're actually still being very competitive. They're not falling off like some of these other teams that we're seeing. I mean, as much as we love to give Spo credit, you've seen how this Heat team looked against this this Dallas team. They get smacked up with Jimmy Butler. So I mean, I like this spot here. I'm going to take Houston. I like them in the first half, so I'm gonna take them early on. I'm gonna take them in the first half. I like them to beat up Dallas early.
It makes a ton of sense. It really does. It really does. I think this makes a ton of sense. It's not available in my book, so I think this -1 that you're getting at FanDuel is a great line. I do not expect it to be available for myself.
Is that full game or first half, Jim?
That's full game.
There's no first half out yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Does Houston have anybody? When's their next game?
Let me.
Do you have that?
You said their next game?
I didn't have no numbers on this, no line on this game.
Yeah,
I was breaking it down, but after listening to everything I hear, if Houston's not on a back-to-back the next night, I think Houston might be the.
No, they're not. They're not. They play Wednesday against Indiana.
Yeah,
they play Wednesday against Indiana, so they're going to be off on Tuesday, but they're going to be on the road. So right now they're at home. Yeah, they're at home. They're
with no Luka and everything you said, even without Harden, and I believe he might play, but even without Harden, with Wall and Gordon and everything they have, it just, I mean, yeah. Honestly, I didn't break down this game too much because, like I said, I didn't have a line. But I think I might need to lock in that -1 full game.
I think that makes a ton of sense. Do you want to lock that in, Dutch?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's run that all the way around.
Let's
run that all the way around. I take the first half. Honestly, this game seems like the spot that we're mentioning with the Bucks. Because just even if Luka plays, let's just go ahead and go worst case scenario. Luka plays, and these guys are even hitting their shot. The drop off is because 46% from three that where Steph Curry was hitting, or 40% from three. these guys are at ranked 100, I believe, as far as 46 or something around there for Tim Hardaway. So it's a big drop off from being like number one from three to being 40th from three last year. I think that's the biggest drop off there, and going along with as far as the Dallas team, it doesn't seem like they're really meshing well as far as what they expect Josh Richardson to be doing right now. He doesn't look, even off the picks and stuff that he were doing in 76ers, he doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of the same stuff.
So a first half win available for Wham. Dutch, you want Rockets -1 and -110. Are you interested in that first half as well?
No, just the full game. I think they're the better team, so I'll take the full game.
I agree. I'm going to do the full game, just the full game as well. But I get why Wham wants to double up. Very interesting breakdown. That's Mavericks Rockets. We move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Pistons 1-5 on the season, 0-2 on the road at Milwaukee Bucks, 3-3, 2-0 at home. Pfizer Forum, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Pistons 21st in pace this year. Their pace is 100.19 possessions a game. Bucks are fourth, 104.67. Still slightly slower than they were running at last year. The Bucks are 14.5-point favorites. Not doing any favors. This total is 227.5. Pistons on the second half of back-to-back. We talked about their game against the Celtics, earlier on the show. The Pistons lost 122-120 at home to the Celtics. Jeremy Grant, player you guys have both spoken about quite a bit, scored 22 points for the Pistons. It's his career best fifth straight game with at least 20 points. Blake Griffin settling for perimeter shots. If I had to watch this, if I was a fan of the basketball team that he played for, I would lose my shit. It all started when he would go to the Just for Laughs festival in Montreal every year, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Are you supposed to be in a gym or practicing or some shit? I mean, Josh Jackson went down with a right lower leg injury early in the third quarter when he was fouled on a transition layup. He made the shot, subsequent free throw, but he was taken out of the game and did not return. That's going to be a big loss.
Huge.
Because Blake Griffin skipping around the perimeter, firing Abdul-Jabbar hook threes is not going to do it for the Pistons. The Bucks bounced back from losing the second half of road back-to-back at Miami by defeating the Bulls 126-96 at home. They're scoring 124.5 points per game, hitting 48.7% from the field, and they're 3-3. They've been hot from 3-2. They're averaging 43.9% from beyond the arc on the season. Drew Holiday still playing below expectations, averaging 15.5 points, 5 assists. Giannis is averaging 6 points less a game than he did last season. Their defense is being poor as well. They allow 110.5 points per game. I was wondering what this number was going to be for the Bucks, because it just feels like Bucks smash, but 14.5. I tell you, that does not interest me. Wham, we'll start with you here. Pistons Bucks.
Yeah, this game is very interesting. Back-to-back for Detroit. They're in a bad spot going against a real Western Bucks. Like you're saying, it seems like they have been playing a little bit more serious, though. They kind of seem like they didn't care early on in the season, but, things start to switch around. I think Drew Holiday has been playing well on defense. We did mention him last time, but on the offensive end, he hasn't been pulling through. But Chris Middleton, has been scorching, having a league assist at 6. The league assist. I said that again. The team high in assists at 6 assists. I think his efficiency, man, like as far as his shooting, he shoots at a high clip all the time. And you get along with that with playmaking, also being in the right sets, setting guys up right, and playing pretty good defense as well. He's not a slouch on defense. He plays really good defense. Him being that catalyst there on this team, being that forefront guy, it does seem like that's kind of reason why Giannis is taking a little bit eased off. I already signed. I don't have to go all crazy. I got my money now. Let me ease up off the brakes on these points here. I don't need the stat pad now. Let's get everybody involved. That's what it seems like. I honestly think the role players for the Bucks is what's been surprising. White Dante DiVincenzo, man, he's been playing really good this year, man. Like, for real, he's been playing really good. And this Detroit team, they've been overachieving. Like you said, Jeremy Grant, he had 12 points in the first quarter in this game tonight, going crazy. I think you mentioned as well that the coach said that these guys couldn't miss. That's kind of what these guys have been doing. They've been overachieving, I believe. I think this could be a Bucks smash spot. I just don't feel like I should jump on it right now. Just like you said, it could be a who cares about this game type of game. And I don't want to be caught in the minus 13.5, hoping that these guys hit their free throws because, that might not be a good look.
Yeah, the problem with that number at 13.5 or it's at 14.5 right now is that it doesn't come down to free throws. It's going to come down to whether or not if the Bucks are up, 16 or 17 points, who's on the floor in the last 5 minutes and are they trying? It's just not a fun gambling position to be in, not something that interests me. Let's hear what our man Dutch has to say, Pistons Bucks.
Okay, so with the Bucks, it's really been one of two things. It's a blowout either way. Either they're getting blown out or they're doing the blowout. You know what I mean? So the players that barely play in the fourth quarter, it seems like that's another reason why Giannis's numbers are down 6 points because his minutes are probably down as well with that. But from a side perspective, I can only look one way, and that would be Milwaukee. Detroit played a tough game. They obviously came up a little bit short. But I would look for Milwaukee to come out, hammer it, and I would probably look for Giannis and Middleton and Holiday to be sitting mid-third quarter. So I look more because the line's, what'd you say, 14.5. We're probably looking at like an 8 first half. So I think I might like the Bucks first quarter, smash spot and kick back and chill after that.
See, I think the only time, depending on whether Josh Jackson's there or not, the only spot in the game when I would trust the Pistons and I trust teams on back-to-back is the first quarter and is the first.
Right. Well, I don't trust the Pistons, not a period. First quarter, tomorrow, anytime. So, but I get what you're saying. I knew, and that's when I was thinking. I know Jimmy's gonna be like back-to-back first quarter, but I don't fucking trust the Pistons. No way, no how. So, Bucks to me should be up 10-12 at the end of first quarter.
Is that something you want me to look for when it comes out?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm trying to stay off these first quarters, but man, because they've been hitting though that I don't bet it, and I'm like, damn. But yeah, if we can get under, I think under probably 3.5, I think we rock that.
Probably get like 3.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be under. I think it'll
3.5. Under 4 is what I'm hoping.
Under 4. I think I would open it at 4. If I put it at 3.5, if I was running a book, I would juice that shit to like minus 120.
Yeah, that you should.
I really want 3.5. I ain't gonna lie. But okay. Yeah,
under 4.
But yeah, I'll rock with the 4 too. We can lock that in. I think the Bucks smash first quarter.
All right, I'm off the spot. Wham, are you doing anything?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna get off this. It looks like I'm like looking at all the plays that I made so far. I'm like, you know what? Let me slow up a little bit. You know what I mean? Because this is one of those that you got a slight edge, and it is based off a matchup. Don't get me wrong. Like I like to bet mostly off a matchup. This is a good matchup for the Bucks to just come out and smash. They could get the threes off. They could go in there, do the Euro dunk, all they want, you know what I mean, in this spot. And Jeremy Grant, like I said, man, he's been playing great. Don't get me wrong. And he is a hooper. He go off the bounce now. It looked like he's going off the bounce, something that he wasn't doing in Denver. He was a spot-up shooter there. I like his game, but I'm just going to stay off of this one, bro.
Yeah, Chris is getting rolled tomorrow, man.
I'm staying off of it as well. Dutch looking at a first quarter. He's got 4 as the limit. Let's move to 8 p.m. Eastern. Pacers, Pelicans. It's going to be a nice one. Pacers 4-2, 1-0 on the road. Pelicans 4-2, 2-0 at home at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Pacers 15th in pace, 101.42. Pelicans slow in pace, 28th, 98.58 possessions a game. Pelicans sitting as 1.5-point favorites here. Pacers coming off their second loss in 3 games, 106-102 at home to the Knicks as 9.5-point favorites. Malcolm Brogdon goes for 33. But Aaron Holiday and Victor Oladipo went a combined 3 for 22 from the field. TJ Warren out indefinitely with a foot injury. He has missed the last 2 games. His absence is noticeable. Pacers are still hitting an impressive 49.4% from the field. Pelicans have won 3 of 4, and they're coming off defeating the Raptors 120-116 at home. Brandon Ingram just continues to roll. Another big night, 31 points. Bledsoe and Ball combined for 32 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. God, that's nice. Pelicans defense has been strong this year, allowing just 102 points per game. The 8th game on a 9-game card. We start with Dutch Boy Fresh, Pacers, Pelicans.
Okay, so like you mentioned, the Pelicans do slow down. They, and they play great defense as well. From the Pelicans aspect, they're actually 5-1 in the last 6 games to the under. The last game we mentioned before, they did just hit the over against your Raptors. Now 6-1 to last 7 to the under at home, and the under's 10-5 to the last 15 versus the Pacers. Now the Pacers are 5-2 in the last 7 on the to the under in road games, and 4 of the last 5 versus New Orleans has went under. So to me, with TJ Warren being out, like you mentioned, Jimmy, he's a big piece of that offense. Like you mentioned with Oladipo, we want him keep shooting. I don't know what happened with Sabonis. Like, he's probably the best offensive player, option on their team, and he doesn't get the shots. He's not selfish either because he gets assists too. He's an all around player, but he's not overly aggressive. It's Oladipo. It seems like they want him to be the guy. I don't think he really is. Definitely from an offensive aspect, I just want him to shoot as many jumpers as possible. I like Malcolm Brogdon. I like the actual team as the Pacers when they're fully healthy. I think this is a very tough game, competitive game. Flip a coin sidewise. I probably lean with the home team, but also with the Pacers coming off a loss. It's a tough spot. But I love the under here simply from a matchup aspect, from a numbers aspect. And I think these are two teams that are out to prove something as well. So hopefully that'll carry over to the defensive end. So I would like the under in that game, Jim.
Yeah, I think that under makes sense. I also like the Pelicans here. I think
I'm
the
not mad at
Pelicans
that.
are.
I like Ingram. Like, he's a nightmare matchup for them.
It's
going to be juiced in the props, but when you look at it, he hasn't played that much against him. The one game he played, he had 24. But he's a different cat right now. He's on another level. I don't think he's ever been as comfortable on the court as he is right now. I think he's going to be a big problem for him tomorrow night. I don't, like I mentioned, I'm not going to place a side because I definitely think Indiana is a better team when they're fully healthy. But this could be a Pelican spot.
And I don't want to fade the Pacers after such a poor shooting performance from Oladipo and Holiday. The Brandon Ingram points is at 22.5.
That's pretty low, actually.
That is really low, but that makes sense because it's an under game, bro. That makes sense. That really makes me want to take the under.
Well,
honestly.
I'm going to lock our guy Dutch in. Dutch can think about if he wants to add the Ingram prop. I'm going to lock him in on the under 218 in this spot, and let's hear what Wham has to say. Pelicans, Pacers.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. I honestly like that under. This is a clash of two different styles, like you guys have mentioned here. This is number 2 team in fast break points in Indiana, and also the number 2 team in points in the paint. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with them just kind of like bruising like one team and like 72 points, if I'm not mistaken. But I put that somewhere here. I was trying to look for it. I couldn't in the midst of time. But for here, though, this team in New Orleans, like you're saying, they're slow pacing. They're number 3 in opposing opponents' points per game at 102 points per game. And they're slowing down the pace and slowing down and stopping the paint. They're number 2 in opposing points per game in the paint at 38 points per game. So they're two different styles. I think the matchup favors New Orleans. I honestly, coming into this show, I was going to say my bet would probably be on New Orleans. I couldn't get the line originally because mine wasn't available yet, but I probably would have already betted the New Orleans because I think I was seeing that Indiana was possibly going to get a little love here. So I see that the favorite is New Orleans though now, right, Jimmy? You said the favorite is New Orleans?
They are 1 point favorites at circa 1.5 at FanDuel and Bet365.
The way I'm looking at this is kind of giving me leaning towards New Orleans, and I like the under as well. They control the tempo. They're going to win the game, and this total seems like it's going to go over. They started the game season all their first 5 games went over. I mean under. I'm sorry, and their last game did go over. But we did mention that earlier on. But I look at this New Orleans team as being a matchup problem for everyone. Opposing rebounds, as far as what they're allowing people to get as far as rebounds, they're at 47 rebounds, number 1 so far. So that looks like that's here to stay. Steven Adams, that addition looks like that's the product of that addition there. I think that New Orleans is a tough matchup down low, and if Sabonis is having a bad game, and these guys can't hit their shots, this probably is going to be a Brandon Ingram mid-range game fest. And I'm taking New Orleans here, so I'm going to go New Orleans -1, and I definitely want to take that under, but I got another juicy play next, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna leave the under alone. I'm gonna take the -1 New Orleans though.
Okay, you've got that locked. Pelicans -1, -110. I'm going to take the under with Dutch, and I think I'm going to stay just because of how poor that Pacers performance was. It's enough to make me stay off fading an angry Pacers side. Under 218, I'm with Dutch on that. Wham is on the Pelicans -1. We get to our last game of the evening, 10 p.m. Eastern. Sacramento Kings 3-3, 1-2 on the road at Golden State Warriors 2-3. Actually, that's now 3-3 because they're coming off of a win this evening over the Blazers. Chase Center, San Francisco, California, Kings 16th in pace at 101.41 possessions a game. Warriors flying out there. They're second in pace, 107.50 possessions a game. After a strong start, the Kings have lost 3 of 4. They're coming off losing 2 straight at Houston. The second loss coming to a Rockets team without James Harden. Marvin Bagley's dad tweets out that his son wants to be traded. He's averaging 11.8 points, 8 boards in just 25 minutes a game. De'Aaron Fox, 21 points, 6.2 assists per game. I'm still sort of waiting for him to take that next step. And, I mean, those are nice numbers. But I'm still waiting for him to take that real next step. He's a extremely talented guard. Warriors on the second half of back-to-back. They win 137-122 over the Blazers this evening. Steph Curry goes off for 62. They've now won 3 of 4. But this is their third game in 4 nights. After Steph just goes off. Before tonight's game, they were shooting just 39.8% from the field, allowing 124 points per game. Draymond Green changes everything. He changes the toughness of this team immensely. He scored 0 points in his first game, 18 minutes. And then he comes back and he scores 1 point tonight against Portland. 1 point. And he has the game high plus 22. I mean, he has intangibles everywhere. Last game on the card, Kings Warriors. Warriors are 2-point dogs. This totals at 232.5. We start with Wham Bam. West Coast action here. Take it away, Kings Warriors.
I love this matchup here. This is the game that I was mentioning on the last breakdown here as well. So as far as this game's going, I could only look at the team that is together. That looks like they're getting back on track now. Kelly Oubre, betting with Kelly Oubre, it should be a own sitcom because we've been having issues with this guy's whole career. We could go all the way back to Washington, you know what I mean, as far as betting with Kelly Oubre. But as far as right now, with Draymond Green coming back, it seems like Kelly Oubre doesn't have to be the only tough guy, and that alone gives me confidence in him. That alone gives me confidence in him. He looks like he's doing the same things that he was doing without Draymond being on the floor, but it seems a little bit more effective because he has Draymond there to back him up. Now, nothing here is going down like on Friday with Craig knocking out Debo, rest in peace. But here, we're not talking about that. We're talking about how they were getting a little bit more together today in this game. Draymond's going back and forth with Dame. They're going back and forth, drawing at each other. That got these guys routed up. That got them routed up. And that's the reason why I think you've seen this type of fight from Steph. He get the career high, 64, 62 points, something crazy like that. When you get a 60 ball, I'm looking around. What done changed? And it has to be Draymond edition. I like this Golden State Warriors team off of back-to-back, home dogs. Give me the money line. I'm taking that one, bro.
But don't you think that we're going to wake up? Or what do you think the odds are of us waking up and reading Draymond Green is sitting in the second half of a back-to-back?
Now, Draymond Green, I believe he won't be like that, bro. I don't think that's what we're seeing right now. This is a divisional game that they have to win. Now, I know this is not the NFL, and this is a lot of games, but these 72 games are going to have to come back down to haunt you. And this game, you have to win at home. I believe this is a game that they're going to have to not circle, and it is the Sacramento Kings who's already having issues with their players. Like you said, they're already having issues with their players. I really like this team. Even let's just go ahead and say worst case, Draymond is not in this game. The Sacramento Kings, the main reason why I like Sacramento Kings, I hate when I kind of killed it off without explaining why, but Sacramento Kings without Halliburton, it's showing. They're averaging, I believe, 24 assists per game, and they only had 11 assists last game. That's because they're trying to go 1-on-1 with Houston Rockets, going 1-on-1 with John Wall. Everybody was playing like James Harden. He wasn't even on the floor. It was crazy. I was like, is James Harden playing? Everybody's playing 1-on-1 matchup ball there. So this Sacramento team having issues with that guy not being in the lineup. And if, Buddy Hield's knocking down the shot, good and dandy, but I don't think he's going to be knocking down the shot in this game. So I'm looking at this Golden State matchup as possibly one of those games that you might look at it like, hey, he's off of a career night and he come back and fall flat. I don't think that's the case. I think he continues to be in MVP form. I like him to get another 30 piece for Steph Curry, and I think he's going to be playing for sure. So I can understand what you're saying, but I think he's going to play, bro.
I'm not worried about Steph. I just think Draymond plays 18 minutes in this first game, 27 minutes in the second game. I just don't feel like that is a minute progression that would lead you to playing a star and a key piece to your puzzle in back-to-back games. And it's not up to Draymond. It's up to Steph.
Yeah, Jimmy throwing those stars around, huh? You giving out stars?
Well, he did erase Terrence Ross from being 6th man of the year, so you got to give him credit for that, bro.
Come on, man.
He did not do that. So
what the fuck, hey man.
Give him credit. But you know what?
Draymond definitely ain't no fucking shiny star. I'll say that.
He mentioned plus 22 is tough to do.
Hey,
it. Like,
man,
how many points he has?
Easy to do when your boy gets 62. Shit.
It does help.
Bro? That's tough.
Yeah, when your boy, did you see the game? Steph was all Draymond did was run down the court, run back.
He was setting some. So I was noticing that
he was setting
screens.
he
was setting some cold screens, bro.
Nah,
he was setting some cold screens,
Draymond's
bro.
a decent role player. He's no star. All right, we're gonna argue that to the end of the day, Jim. You know what I mean?
He get paid like one. He get paid like one.
He get paid like one, but a lot of
motherfuckers
my bank.
Like one.
And Draymond he be carrying Steph in Clay's bags. Let's just say that.
Okay, well, Dutch, is there anything that interests you in this spot here?
Yeah, I'm running the complete opposite. Like, hey, you're probably right. Draymond's ass with his Down syndrome probably will be sitting tomorrow night. Now the Kings are 7-0 in last 7 versus the Warriors, and they're 8-2 in the last 10 ATS versus the Warriors. All right, 4-1 ATS on the road versus home teams with a losing record, which we do know the Warriors have. So I'm locking in the Kings, baby. I'm on the other side of this motherfucker. We're going -2 Sacramento.
Kings -2 and -110 at FanDuel.
And we're going to smack Draymond even if his ass is on the bench.
Okay. Well, that locks up the final game on our card. I'm going to stay off of this. I'm going to stay off of this.
I'm not a Draymond fan, Jimmy.
What money line did I get? Because I got it at plus 120.
Oh, not here. Plus 112.
112. All right, I'll take that.
And it's just going. I do agree that the Warriors are playing. I told you we talked about it before when they flipped the switch against the Pistons with that shot that that dude Lee hit. I figured that would prevail them. They went in and beat the Pistons. So I'm not mad at that, but I just think this is a Sacramento spot with Curry dropping 62, and we know that he took this game tonight serious after Dame came in there and did that to him. They talk a lot. So I feel like they're gonna have their champagne and chill out tonight, and they might not be fully locked in tomorrow. So that's my hope. But this is a tough play though, Wham. So I don't like that we're on the other side, but hey, we can't be on the same side on every motherfucking
We
game.
can't, bro. It's only right. It's all good. It's all love. You already know how we rock. I just hope that his dad wasn't calling for help before for the second round pick. Get him, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope your dad wasn't calling for help.
Sometimes that should be bringing them together. But Fox could get his. I actually like Matt Barnes or my guy Barnes, not Matt, but Harrison Barnes in this matchup, going back to Golden State. You check the numbers on that, see if we can get a decent line on that. But him going back to Golden State, he's played well against them when he hasn't played against Kevin Durant. Matches up, against Wiggins. Wiggins, we know Jimmy is fond of him, but he's a little softy. So Harrison should be able to get his. So I'll take a look at the market with Harrison Barnes. But other than that, I'm looking for a good game, and hopefully Sacramento pulls it out at the end.
Be a nice West Coast special to close out.
Cali special.
I would not need to worry about that from my dad. He doesn't have a cell phone, so I would do tweet on nothing.
Also, you on the right side of the trend, bro. Last 7 meetings, Sacramento's covered, bro.
Yeah,
you're on the right side.
Yeah, 7-0 last 10 versus the Warriors, 8-2 last 10. 8-10. So they play well. They take that matchup serious. Like they're like the little brother. They're little Sacramento, little hillbillies in the country compared to the Bay Area, Berkeley, all the big money, Silicon City.
Right.
So they take that shit serious. And then the fact that they just handle Portland like that. Steph getting 62, feeling himself. Draymond playing these minutes. In or out, I don't really care about Draymond. He's not that big of a deal to me.
He's in, bro. He's in, bro.
Yeah, I hope Curry's ass sits, and then I'm really liking my play. Draymond can run 40 minutes. His ass might get 3 points.
Right. I love it. There's your breakdown of Kings Warriors. Let's review everyone's action. Here we go. Cavs Magic. Wham is on the Cavs plus 4.5. He's also on the under when it's available. I'm on the Magic early, and I've got to decide whether that's going to be first quarter, first half. And if Garland is out of the lineup, I'll be on the under. In Hornets Sixers, I'm going to be first quarter Hornets. Wham's on the over 219, and he's on Sixers minus 9.5, minus 110. Dutch is not on the first 2 games, but he attacks the Knicks Hawks game heavy. And he's the only one who attacks it. Wham and I are off of it. Dutch is on Knicks first half plus 3.5, minus 114. Over 221.5 at minus 110. Trae Young over 29.5 points. Julius Randle over 34.5 points in rebounds. Wham, you were talking about it possibly being a Hawk spot, but you did not move on that game. Do you want to add that?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stay off of that one. Just the only thing that stops me from staying off of it, when the coach isn't confident in his teams and they're up by 12, they're not playing it. That kind of gives me wait a second, let me hold off. And I'm gonna just hold off on the Hawks just for now, but until these guys come back, Gallinari, Rondo.
In Thunder Heat, Wham's on the Thunder plus 8, and I'm doubling up on the Heat. First half, full game. Full game's available right now, minus 7.5, minus 110. In Celtics Raptors, I'm on the Raptors full game minus 2.5, and I will be on their team total over. Dutch is on Marcus Smart over 19.5 points and assists. And Wham is on the Raptors minus 2.5 as well. In Mavericks Rockets, Dutch is on Hardaway Jr. over, but after we heard Wham's breakdown on the Rockets, both Bag, Dutch moved on the Rockets at minus 1 and minus 110. Pistons Bucks, Dutch is on a first quarter if I can get him under 4. 4 is the limit. He will take the 4, but he wants under 4. And then in Pacers, Pelicans, Dutch is on the under 218. I'm on the under 218, and Pelicans -1 for Wham. And then on that final game, the boys are going heads up. Wham's on the Warriors +112, and Dutch is on the Kings -2. Our records are glorious right now, but it's very early in the year, so we got to keep the winners coming. Big thank you to our experts, Wham, Bam, and Dutch Boy Fresh. Follow them both on Twitter at TrotWham, at Dutch Boy Fresh. And any last words, Wham Bam, before we put a bow on this?
Nah, I appreciate you guys. It looks like we're going to stack it up this week, and I'm ready to go ahead and back at it next again. You know how we do it, bro. Never too high, never too low, but it's always a go. My man Dutch, it's always a pleasure, bro.
Yes, sir, Wham.
I love it. Dutch, you want to finish this off for us?
My man, you already know. I appreciate being with you, Jimmy. Wham, all y'all tuning in. But it's getting late, so let's put the women and children to bed, and let's go look for fucking dinner, boys.
All right. On behalf of all of us at odds.com, thank you for watching, and let's keep rolling. Get paid.